Welcome to the English Core Gallery by Amita Kohli. This is an explanatory video on Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood written by Anees Jung. Taken from Flamingo, Class 12, Chapter 2. Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood by Anees Jung. Author Anees Jung was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She did her education in Hyderabad and USA. The following lesson is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring: Stories of Stolen Childhood. Let me first give you an overview of the lesson. The two stories in this excerpt are taken from the book titled Lost Spring: Stories of Stolen Childhood. The writer Anees Jung analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. The excerpt has two stories of stolen childhood, one of Sahib, who is a poor ragpicker, and the other of Mukesh, who works in a bangle factory. Before I begin with the lesson, students, let me give you an introduction to it. Spring season symbolizes the childhood stage of life. Just as spring has colors, joy, happiness, flowers, so does childhood have or is supposed to have. Childhood is supposed to have joy, happiness, no tensions, no stresses. It has schooling in it, it has education in it. But unfortunately, there are so many children who have these missing in their childhood. For example, the child laborers, the ragpickers who are not going to school but have to work. These children have not lived their childhood. Their childhood has been lost, rather, it has been stolen, as they too have the rights to live their childhood. Examples are the two stories in this excerpt of Sahib and Mukesh, who are working as child laborers in their childhood. Here the author analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. Let us go through the stories of Sahib and Mukesh. Here is the theme of the lesson. The stories bring out the plight of street children forced into labor early in life and denied the opportunity of school. The stories also bring out the callousness of the society and political class to the sufferings of the poor. First part of the story is the story of Sahib. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Anees Jung, the writer, she reaches Seemapuri. The author reaches Seemapuri and she comes across Sahib. She asks him why he does not go to school. He replies that there is no school in his neighborhood. She very lightly asks him if he would go to school if she makes one, to which Sahib replies that he would. Now Sahib is very innocent. He takes these words of Anees Jung very seriously. He thinks it is a promise on the part of Anees Jung to make a school in his neighborhood. And so next, when the author visits Seemapuri, Sahib runs to ask her if her school was ready. The author gets embarrassed at the hollow promise that she had made to the boy. Now, if you look at Sahib's name, his full name is Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. Whereas in reality, he was a ragpicker. He was Lord of the streets. So this is the irony in his name. Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe. Whereas in reality, he was totally opposite to what his name meant. He was a ragpicker. In the lesson, the author has used a metaphor to describe the ragpickers. She has compared the ragpickers to morning birds. He roams the streets with his friends and an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. And you must have noticed or observed that these ragpickers are generally seen on the roads in the morning and never seen after the noon. So they have been compared by the author to morning birds that appear in the morning and disappear at noon. The ragpickers are compared to the morning birds that disappear by noon. They are barefoot ragpickers. They are not never wearing chappals. On being asked why they don't wear chappals, some say it is a tradition to remain barefoot, while others say that their mother did not bring the chappals down from the shelf. Actually, the real reason behind not wearing chappals is their grinding poverty. Let us check what we have read up till now. How does Sahib embarrass the author? What is the irony in Sahib's name? Explain the metaphor used for the ragpickers. What reasons do the ragpickers give for not wearing chappals? Let us move ahead now, students. Next, the author describes Seemapuri. Seemapuri is the place on the periphery of Delhi where these ragpickers live. Poor ragpickers live in Seemapuri, which is located on the boundary, periphery of Delhi. Although located on the periphery of Delhi, yet Seemapuri is miles away from it, metaphorically, comparatively. Although Seemapuri is just on the boundary of Delhi, yet it is unlike Delhi. It is poor, underdeveloped, lacks facilities, whereas Delhi is rich and sophisticated. The living conditions in Seemapuri are really pathetic. Their houses are made of mud and tin and have tarpaulin roofs. There is no sewage or drainage system. These poor ragpickers have migrated from Bangladesh. They have no identity, but they have been provided with ration cards. For them, food and roof on their heads, even if it is a leaking roof, is more important than identity. For the ragpickers, garbage is gold. Survival in Seemapuri means ragpicking. Over the years, ragpicking has become a fine art. For them, garbage is gold. Why? Because of this garbage, they are able to earn their daily bread. It is a means of survival for them. But for children, garbage is wrapped in wonder. This same garbage, which is a means of survival for the elders, has a different meaning for the children. For children, garbage means even more. For them, it is wrapped in wonder because sometimes they find a rupee note or a coin or a 10 rupee note in it. So for children, garbage has a different meaning. Sahib now he finds tennis shoes and one day he is wearing those shoes. From where did he get those tennis shoes? Otherwise he was always walking barefoot. Perhaps the shoes were discarded by a rich boy because they had a hole in it. But for Sahib, his dream had come true because he had always walked barefoot and had wanted to wear tennis shoes one day. Now Sahib, he has a job. He is working at a tea stall. But is Sahib happy working at the tea stall? He is working at the tea stall. He earns rupees 800 and all meals in a day. But he has lost his carefree look. He has lost his freedom. Now he has a master to obey. He is no longer his own master. The steel canister that he carries belongs to a master and is heavier than the plastic bag. Thus we can say that Sahib, although he is earning 800 rupees and all meals for himself in a day, but still he is not happy because he has lost that carefree look now. He has lost his freedom. He has a master to obey. Earlier, he was his own master. Let us check the comprehension. Explain. Seemapuri is located on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it. What are the living conditions in Seemapuri? Why did the ragpickers leave their own country and settle in India? Garbage to them is gold. Explain. What meaning does the garbage hold for children? Where does Sahib work? What does Sahib earn now? Is Sahib happy working at the tea stall? Give reasons for your answer. Dear students, if you have watched the video carefully up till here, you should be able to answer all these diagnostic questions. All these questions are based on the important points of the lesson. Let's move ahead. Besides these short answer questions, the 120 word questions are also here for you, and they need to be prepared. The content points in them should be clear and all the content points should be mentioned. Garbage to them is gold. Elaborate. Here the author is talking about the ragpickers, the elders in the ragpicker community. For them, garbage was gold. Why? Because it was a means of survival for them. Because of garbage only, they were able to earn their livelihood. They were earning their daily bread. Second question. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. For the elders, it is a means of survival. You can say this is an extension of the first question itself, because it had different meaning for the elders and for the children. For the elders, it was a means of survival. It was gold for them. But for children, it was wrapped in wonder. Wrapped in wonder, how? That because at times when they were scrounging through the garbage, they would find a rupee note or a 10 rupee note or a coin in it. So they were happy with it. And then another important question based on this particular lesson is describe Seemapuri and the living conditions there. Here you have one writing skill based on this particular lesson, that is article writing. Child labor refers to the, if you will see the theme also, the theme that we had done in the beginning, it is based on child labor. So we can very easily write an article on child labor once we have read through this particular lesson. Child labor refers to the employment of children in any work that deprives children of their childhood, interferes with their ability to attend regular school. It is such a pity to learn that according to a census, India has one of the largest populations of child laborers. Write an article on the need for eradication of child labor. In CBSE class 12, this is a 5-mark question and you are expected to write at least 120 to 150 words in this. These are notes for you students based on the important points of the lesson. I have divided the story of Sahib into important points, important subheadings, and then written the important points under them. All diagnostic questions, short answer questions, they will be based on these important points only. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Sahib, if you start from the beginning of the lesson, in the beginning we find the very first important point is Sahib, he embarrasses the author. Well, now how does he embarrass the author? Because he had asked her if the school was ready, and she says no. It was a hollow promise that she had made. She realizes that, and so she feels embarrassed. Next is the important point is the name of Sahib, the irony in Sahib's name, Sahib-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe, whereas actually he was a ragpicker. Next is the metaphor. The ragpickers are compared to the morning birds that disappear by noon. And then is that they remain barefoot. Why do they remain barefoot? Some say it is a tradition. Others say the mother did not bring the chappals down from the shelf, whereas the real reason is poverty. Then the author very elaborately describes Seemapuri, that it is located on the boundary of Delhi, and although it is located on the boundary of Delhi, yet it is metaphorically very different, opposite of Delhi. Delhi is developed, Delhi has facilities, Delhi has money, Delhi is sophisticated, and in sharp contrast, Seemapuri is totally underdeveloped. It does not have any money, no facilities, nothing. Their houses are made of mud, tin or tarpaulin roofs. There is no proper sewerage system, no drainage system, no identity, but they have ration cards. The government has provided them with ration cards, but these ration cards are, the identity is not so important for them. What is important for them is food and a roof on their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. And this is one reason, because they were unable to get even one meal in a single day, manage one meal in a single day in their own country, Bangladesh. That is why they left and they came over here. And here they are at least able to manage food and roof for themselves. Now Sahib has a job. He works at a tea stall. He is earning 800 rupees a month and all the meals in the day. But still he is not happy because he has lost his freedom. He has lost that carefree look. Now he has a master to obey. He is no longer his own master. Now he has to carry a steel canister which appears to be heavier than the plastic bag that he used to carry earlier. So he has now lost his freedom. So we assume that now Sahib, he is not happy, although he is earning so much, but he is not happy. Students, I hope the story of Sahib is clear to you all. If you will do all the diagnostic questions, the comprehension questions that are given in between, and the notes, your lesson will be well prepared. Thank you so much.